Hey, this is Rushion McDonald. How you doing? Welcome to Money Making Conversation. She's on the phone. My next guest for the past 5 years has made Unrivaled Magazine the premier media outlet for covering uplifting entertainment news and events. Their goal is to provide content that is both uplifting and entertaining while providing their audience with a look into some of the most prestigious industry events. They have also recently started to provide promotions and marketing services to entrepreneurs and those in the entertainment industry. Please welcome to Money Making Conversation the author of You Can Be a Success Too. I love that title. And founder and executive in charge of Unrivaled Magazine One, Robin Charles Living.
Yay. Thank you for having me. That was an amazing introduction.
I tried.
Yeah, I know you are amazing with those introductions. I was so excited about it. I do want to thank you for having me. This is definitely a full circle moment. Talk about manifestation.
Awesome. You're a Louisiana girl, to my understanding, correct?
I am.
Okay, talk about
I
that.
am.
Talk about those humble beginnings. And we got a lot to talk about the magazine. We're going to talk about the book, which I read this morning. And my staff always go, Rushion, God blessed me with the ability to read. And I take advantage of it. I have a pretty good memory. So I usually try to read a book like the day before or the day of. Because I get up at, this morning I got up at like 3:30. So my body clock says, wake up. And so once I say wake up, I have two options: to lay in the bed and wondering why I'm not getting up, or get up. So I decided just to get up. And so one of the things on my agenda was to read your book. And so the storyline is fresh in my memory. So let's talk about those humble beginnings in Louisiana.
Yes, so I am originally from St. Martinville, Louisiana, a very small historical town in Louisiana, which is about 25 minutes outside of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Right.
And I was born out of wedlock to two parents that did not receive a high school diploma. I grew up in a single-parent home, and over the course of the years, my mom began to date, and one of her boyfriends, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, he touched me inappropriately. And that kind of shaped my early years into leading me to become looking for love in all the wrong places, and even just not having my own father in the home led me to looking for love in all the wrong places. And I began to date older guys, talk to older guys, and at the age of 14, I became pregnant with my first child. Okay, and I was only a freshman in high school, gave birth to my first child at the age of 15.
Okay, usually at that point, it goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. You know, for some, or you're young. You already said your mom, your single parent mom, was your father in your life at the time?
He was in my life. He just did not live with us, but he was in my life.
Okay. When that happened, what was his conversation with you? Or what was your parents in general conversation to you when you announced to them that you were pregnant and you were just 15 years old?
Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Basically, you have ruined your chances to do anything in life. You have ruined your chances to become successful. That's what I was told by everyone around me, that you definitely are not going to finish high school. You can forget about college. You're never going to become anything. You're just going to stay in this small town and not excel, is what I was told by other family members, people in the same town that I live in. That's how that conversation went.
Now that's a blast of motivation right there.
Oh.
You're 15,
oh my God.
Right? And they telling you, okay, close up tent. You're done. You're done. Get on welfare. Okay, have a couple of more. Whatever. You're not gonna make it. Get your GED. Okay. Stop going to high school. You got to stay home and take care of this kid. Get you a job at some small department store. And lived check to check. That was the speech. That was the motivating speech that you heard.
That's what I heard. But what I got from it, I use that as the fuel to my fire to become successful. I use that to say, hey, this is what you think is going to happen, but no, this is not the final destination for my life. I'm going to turn it around. And with that, I was able to graduate from high school with honors on time. I walked with the class. I had a 3-year-old by the time I graduated from high school, but I graduated, went on to college,
Okay,
got
let's,
my
let's,
first
slow,
degree.
let's slow this down a little bit. Okay. How did you balance that? Okay, you're talking about graduate with honors, because I don't like for people to just fly past their story, because like, I get 15, I had a kid, I graduated with honors, and I went to college. Okay, I had a 3-year-old on my hip when I walked across the stage. Okay, how did you do that? How did you had this wave of negativity. No one teaches you how to be a parent. Nobody teaches you how to balance life, and you're young. Okay, and I'm assuming that the child's father, was he in your life? Was he in the child's life?
Yes.
Cool. So
Yes,
with that
he
being
was.
said, how did you accomplish it? How did you grow yourself?
Oh, my God, yeah. It definitely was not easy by any means. Yeah, like you said, you hear the success, but the in-between story is what really matters. It was not easy. After having my daughter, I fell into a depression because with her father, he was also abusive. And this is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so I do want to touch on that as well. He was abusive verbally and physically, so that kind of put me in a depression. So there were plenty of times where I even contemplated suicide. So it took me to really dig into my relationship with God. That's what kept me going. I knew that if I prayed, God would get me through the situation. So while I'm still going to high school, balancing being a mother, dealing with this abusive relationship, the only thing I could turn to was God. So at the same time, I'm smiling, I'm going to school, I'm making good grades, and then when I'm alone, I'm, battling these demons. So I had no choice but to, dig in and pull my relationship with God as the only thing to get me through these times.
Okay, cool. You got through the times. You got a degree in sociology, which I am a fan of because my minor is sociology. My degree is in mathematics, and sociology just changed my life. In your book, You Can Be a Success Too, you talk about how sociology changed your whole perspective on life. Let's talk about that a little bit from your perspective.
Yes, absolutely. It caused me to examine some things about myself, my interactions with others, how and why I interact in a certain way with others, how and why others interact in a certain way with myself. And I had a work study while in college with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Acadiana, which mentors, we get volunteers to mentor at-risk youth, and that was the first job I got out of college.
Right.
And with that degree, I was able to just connect with other kids that were at-risk youth, and help them find their ways through mentoring with other mentors. And I think sociology, psychology, just anything in social services is very needed. You may not make the most money, but it's the difference that you make in the lives of others that's most important.
Before we go to, we got a minute left in this break. Tell us, why did you write the book, You Can Be a Success Too?
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, I was told that, hey, these things happen to you. You cannot go on to achieve anything great. You cannot go on to be successful. So I wrote this book as an inspiration to others, and especially other young women that may be going through something as this, a young mother, somebody that may be addicted to drugs, somebody that may be depressed. This is not your final destination. You can still go on to overcome these things and become successful. Yes, you can become a success too, regardless or despite of your current situation.
That's amazing. I met this young lady at the neighborhood awards here on an Instagram post. She wanted to find out how she could be on the media on the red carpet. At the time, it was Ford was the sponsor of the blue carpet. So we'll be right back to talk with more with Robin Charles Living. She's the founder and executive in charge of Unrivaled Magazine One and the author of the hot new book, You Can Be a Success Too.
We'll be right back with more from Rushion McDonald and Money Making Conversations. Don't touch that dial.
My next guest, well, she's not my next guest. She's on the line right now. I'm just reading some old credits. For the past 5 years, has made Unrivaled Magazine the premier media outlet for covering uplifting entertainment news and events. Her goal is to provide that both uplifting and events to their audience. And it's really important that I have people like this on the show, like I had my previous guests. It's about when you're out there in the business world, you just don't know who to turn to, because sometimes what sells so good on television, what sells so good on the media sometimes is bad news. And when you try to sell good news, a lot of times it hits the backstory. So when I meet an individual who I have to believe has overcome the odds as a young person and able to tell a story, I have to bring them on my show to use them as an example. Not to say that she's unique, because there's a lot of successful stories like that. But what happens is the bad stories dominate. The bad stories say, hey, when something bad happens to you, when you're a teen mom, throw in the towel. That's it. The boat is taking on water and you can't plug it up. You done. And so my guest, she decided to not listen to them. She decided to, even though there was disappointment from her parents, like I would be disappointed if my daughter would have told me that. But what you do is you realize that, because as a parent, all you want in life is for your children to have a better life than you. All you want in life is for your kids to outlive you. You don't want your kids to die before you. You don't want your kids to be homeless and you still living in a home. That's not the goal as a parent. So when a parent receives information that's not the future they projected for their child, it's going to be received negatively. So my guest, Robin Charles Living, when you got that negative story from the parents, let's go back to the core of your existence. How did you get past that, and what did you tell them? What reassurance did you tell them, or did you have to just show them that your story was going to be different? As a 15-year-old, I'm pregnant, freshman in high school, how did you change their narrative?
Yeah, basically I had to show them by just continuing to go to school, continuing to bring home good grades, continuing to not go down the path of, okay, now I have this baby. I'm not going to go out and continue to have more babies. I'm not going to go out and hang on the streets and get into other types of trouble. So just showing them that, hey, okay, this happened, but, okay, I'm going to go down the right path going forward, and I am going to make something out of my life.
What sacrifices did you make in your social life or personally? What did you have to stop doing? Because I'm sure being a teen mom, you couldn't do a lot of teen stuff anymore.
Oh, my God. It's like you kind of feel like an outcast while a lot of your friends are like just going and do wild, crazy teenage things, going to a lot of the football games, just being carefree in general. That's no longer an option when you become a mother and responsible for someone else. That you have to think about, are you setting an example, a good example now? You can't just, okay, now I'm carefree. I'm only 16, 15 years old. I'm carefree. I can just go out with my friends, just be wild and crazy. No, I could not do that anymore. It's, okay, now I have a daughter. I have to watch what I do. I have to watch my image and the things I do. That's the mind frame that I had at that young age going forward. So in the essence, it kind of helped in maturing me in the way of becoming a mother at such a young age.
Right. And I'm glad you're stating that. Now, your book, You Can Be a Success Too, a motivational success guide, how to overcome adversity and achieve goals. How do you achieve goals? Let's talk about that. A lot of people, we're trying to, you talked enough about her life as a single mom, her life as let's just say single mom as a teen mom, come from parents. Why is she on the show? Well, first of all, she's on the show one reason. Because first of all, she understands that I will not stop. I will not be stopped. And I always tell people that we allow excuses or setbacks, or as they always say, when you fall down, don't want to get up. And I'm just telling people, you have to get up. Now, how do you set goals? How do you achieve goals? Let's talk about that real quick to my listeners.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It starts with your mindset. And I know you hear a lot of people say that, but the mindset is very important. And once you know what you want to achieve, you have to map out a plan to get it done.
Right.
It's not just going to magically appear. You have to be dedicated. You start off with, I love SMART goals. I mentioned that in my book. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. You have to break down these goals. If you have something really major that you want to achieve, let's say 6 months from now, you break it down. Okay, so it's going to start off with me having to do this daily. I'm going to have to change this habit daily. I'm going to have to do this weekly. Okay, and then I'm going to have to tally up all of these things that I've been doing and the changes I've made and see how far I have gotten at the end of the month. Okay, so what have I achieved and what do I need to achieve to get this done within 6 months? So you break it down. A lot of people become intimidated with achieving goals because it just seems so far-fetched, but it's not when you actually break it down and make it easier to attain.
Goals are really interesting because a lot of people feel that when you reach your goal, they don't know how to reset another goal. It's really, that's the frustrating part about success, is that it just never ends.
Absolutely.
You have to keep motivating yourself to the next goal.
Absolutely.
And the goal, unfortunately, is bigger. And
Yes.
how do you talk?
You
How do
keep
you
going.
how do you talk about that in your book?
Yes, like once you achieve something, okay, yeah, scratch that off. Okay, so what next? You always want to be thinking forward ahead. You should never become comfortable with where you are. Yes, enjoy the moment, but don't become complacent. Don't be like, okay, yeah, I achieved this. Now I'm good. I'm just going to sit back and cross my legs and not do anything.
Right.
No, there's always more to achieve. So that's what I like to mention and motivate others to always be thinking greater, in the sense of greater.
You have some really identifiable titles in your book: overcoming adversities, identifying your purpose, finding ways to stay motivated, fundamentals of goal setting, making sacrifices, be fearless, be relentless, knowledge
Yes,
is power, the importance of persistence. That's when I come into the book. And then
yes.
ask for help, show up and show out. Let's talk about that right there. Show up and show out. Now, that used to be
Yes.
like your kid was show out, you have to spank her. But you said in this situation, in the business world, you should show up and show out. Talk to us about that.
Yes, I end the book with that chapter, and it's basically just saying, okay, now that you have learned how to achieve goals, how to set and achieve goals, you've learned how to figure out your purpose and all that good stuff, but what are you going to do with it? Okay, you have to get out there and network. You have to get out there and meet people. There are plenty of times when you are going to be tired. You're not going to be motivated, but you have to show up. There were times when I didn't want to go to certain events. I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like going. And I would always be glad that I did, because I would end up meeting great people, making new contacts. And the showing out part is just walking into the room, owning it, being that person that's unforgettable, having the right attire, the business attire, the smile, the voice, just being rememberable.
Well, I'll be remiss if I don't talk about your magazine that you founded and you started, Unrivaled Magazine 1. Tell us about that magazine. Why was it important? Because it's 5 years old, correct?
Yes.
So why was it important to launch that magazine, and what is the future of that magazine?
Yes, so it was important because I wanted to motivate others by sharing entertaining, uplifting news. There's a lot of media outlets that share gossip, the latest mess and everything, and that's fine, but that's not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be the one to share, okay, this person started a business, or this person is now a Grammy award-winning singer. How did they become that? Share us, someone that's looking up to you. What advice do you have for them that are looking to be in your shoes? And the future of the magazine, I want to continue to grow it on a larger platform so that I can reach more people and just share these amazing stories.
In a short note, because I have to wrap up the interview. staying true to your purpose. I thought that was important. And in a short capsule, tell us exactly what that is. Staying true to your purpose.
Yes, absolutely. Just know what it is that you are supposed to be doing. Identify your purpose and stay true to it means you live and breathe everything around it. You are aware of everything you are doing, everything you take part in. It aligns with your purpose. Do not listen to what anyone else thinks you're supposed to be doing or says that you're supposed to be doing. It's all about you and your purpose. You have to walk in that, and not have anyone interfere with that.
Robin Charles Living, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on my show. I want to take the time for motivating me, motivating my listeners. Her book, You Can Be a Success Too. Please pick it up. It's in my book club. Rushion McDonald.